She's saying, I'm wanting to pick your brain, Leslie, about supplements. Boosting my immune system has been top of mind these days. I know you've talked highly about turmeric, and I know of the obvious zinc, vitamin C, and D3, but I'm sure there are some great ones I'm missing. Also, is liposomal the best form to take and when it comes to supplements? Great question, Christine. So let's start with the liposomal question. Is a liposomal the best format to take when it comes to supplements? The answer is sometimes. Liposomal is a form, lipo coming from the word fat, and soma I believe is Greek for body, but referring to the fat aspect. Now our cellular walls have phospholipid bilayer. So it sort of has a fat-based, a lot of the membranes of cells have this sort of barrier that is smart and lets in certain things and keeps other things out. So part of the issue with delivering nutrients like supplements into the body is that the body has to sort of encapsulate it itself to get that little packaging across the cell wall. So when through a somewhat complicated manufacturing process, which is why liposomal products are more expensive, you manufacture them in the way in these little liposomal sort of packets, they match the membrane, essentially the same function of the membrane of a cell, so they are able to deliver, whether the stuff inside is water soluble or fat soluble, they are able to get across that phospholipid bilayer and directly deliver into the cell in a more efficient manner. Now what that means for you is that certain nutrients are better in liposomal form, and those nutrients are usually, you'll see it often like vitamin C, glutathione, and also turmeric. And the reason that these are more likely to be found in liposomal forms is because they are traditionally not well absorbed by your gut or your intestine. Because they're not well absorbed, you would have to take a lot of them in order to actually absorb or get into the cellular level just a little bit. And the problem with that, for example, with vitamin C, you got to take a lot of vitamin C because it's not well absorbed to get a little. And when you are taking a lot of vitamin C, it can have irritating effects on the intestines. This is why you'll sometimes hear people say, take vitamin C to bowel tolerance. That essentially says, take vitamin C until you've taken so much that it pisses off your intestines and you get diarrhea. This is similar for magnesium. You've heard me talk about magnesium spray. Part of that is because magnesium is not well absorbed by the gut. So you have to take a lot of magnesium to get it into the cells. And while you're taking a lot of magnesium, you're also having loose stool, diarrhea, and maybe cramping and gastrointestinal symptoms. So bring in the liposomal aspect. You can take a smaller amount, encapsulate it here, and it's actually getting in there, and you're not having those symptoms that are irritating your intestines. Turmeric traditionally is not well absorbed by the body. That's traditionally cooked. Also in cooking, Indian cooking naturally traditionally has curcumin, turmeric with black pepper because black pepper increases the absorption. So there's always some kind of like activator when you're looking at your turmeric supplement. Just taking a capsule full of powdered turmeric is not really going to get into your cells. I personally take liposomal turmeric, and they probably put in a little orange flavor and it tastes great. So these are all nutrients that are not easily absorbed by the body. That's when liposomal form is best. Also, if you have a history of vulnerability in your gut in terms of leaky gut or gut health, this will also help because that function is maybe not working depending on what's happening with your body. So that is the answer for the liposomal question. Now, in terms of what supplements are best for my immune system, and knowing that you already stated, like, yes, I know that zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D are really helpful, but other than that, I might surprise you with this answer, but the best supplements on top of those to take for your immune system are not actually supplements. I don't think that there is one magic bullet for supplements other than some of those basic nutrients that we've already mentioned. When you get sick, noticing zinc, maybe sometimes when you get sick, there is a range of different stuff. We can make a different video about that. But what you're asking to really boost your immunity is not necessarily a supplement or an herb in a long-term way. But I am going to give you a couple other suggestions here on how to really boost your immunity in ways that far exceed and are probably cheaper than supplements. The first one of those is fasting. Now, there have been concrete studies that have shown that fasting in different ways. So fasting can mean not consuming food or generally just consuming water, maybe with an electrolyte solution over a period of anywhere from a certain hours to a certain number of days. There is some research that shows that fasting for 2 to 3 days, which is really hard and a little unattainable for some people. I've done it once or twice and it was doable. The first 12 hours are a little hard, but that actually really does regenerate the immune system in really strong ways. There's a little bit of conflicting animal mice studies that say, yes, that can be good, no, it can't be good. In the short term, like if you did a 3-day fast, your immune system might need a little recovery time. But in general, as a whole, the research tends to indicate, and this is my personal experience, that fasting in various forms is one of the number one things you can do to help your body really regenerate and boost your immune system function. So what I recommend people start with is not to go into a 3-day fast, but is to start working towards intermittent fasting, in which you increase generally every day the time between when you last eat your dinner or last meal of the day. You try to stretch out the time of not eating into the next day for about 14 to 16 hours. Then you're also crunching in the amount of time when you're consuming food to eat all of your meals in like a 4 to 6 hour period the following day. What this does is it gets you the benefit of you don't have to go days without eating, which sometimes it is a little harder to be focused and, have a normal everyday life while you're fasting. It's actually surprisingly recharging at other times. And you also get the benefit of really this regenerative period for your body. So I would say that's something to look into if you're really concerned and want to reboost your immunity, because it has a lot of positive benefits on the different cells of the immune system. And when you have this longer recharge time, you're really boosting the body's ability to do cleanup, which makes sense. If your body's always like digesting and working on the food that you're consuming, it doesn't ever get to those extra deep cleaning tasks that it can do when it's had this longer period of time. It does great work on depleting the glycogen stores of your liver, which forces your liver to break down old stores of things. It can also help rehabilitate your blood sugar response over time and really boost a lot of health and immune markers. So fasting is number 1. Number 2 is to pay attention to your gut health. Like a lot of things, our immunity is very centered and influenced by the state of our gut. So this is a wider topic, and you want to work with a practitioner if you've had or suggested or felt some symptoms like that maybe your digestion or other things are out of whack, because there can be different elements to this that really fit to you. So as always, disclaimer, work with your licensed healthcare provider to find the best situation. And things that can improve your gut health are having a certain amount of fermented or pre and probiotics. Now that doesn't have to mean taking a probiotic necessarily. And unfortunately, when it comes to probiotics, I'm a big proponent of what I would call practitioner grade probiotics. Most of the probiotics on the shelf in your natural grocery store or Whole Foods or wherever tend to not have a lot of super active ingredients. So that's one thing if you are going to take a probiotic, to really take like practitioner level, which you usually have to get through the person that you're working with, because the shelf life and the actual potency of the ones is probably going to be a waste of money on those. But there's a lot that you can do in the prebiotic range of having a little bit of fermented food most days. That can be incorporating a little bit of naturally fermented sauerkraut. You want to look for the stuff that is naturally fermented, not fermented with vinegar. Kimchi is also great. You can do a little bit of kefir, although I tend to support people in being a little bit lower on the dairy front, but fermented dairy can be really helpful. And things that have that prebiotic, it's like helping your body actually to make its own probiotics better. And this will help your gut health, which has an effect on your immune system. Number 3 is make sure that you're getting good sleep. It's one of the most regenerative things. In general, for your system, you want to be in bed by 10 p.m. Those hours between 10 and 12, traditionally in Chinese medicine, these are like the golden hours for regenerating your kidney qi and your battery packs. And it's also how to have the best balanced cortisol levels, which helps you fight stress and keep your also immune and stress systems in a really balanced way. So screw the extra supplements for building your immune system. Look into fasting and gut health and sleep, and that in itself will give a good boost to your immunity way beyond anything that you can pop in a pill form. As much of a fan as I am of herbal and other things things in this particular way, that's where to get the most bang for your buck in terms of immunity. Thanks again for watching. If you liked this video, you can check out more of our resources below and even pop over to our Empath Healer Central Inner Circle membership, where you can ask me questions that I answer twice a month in our live gatherings, where not only do we come together, but you also get small group, one-to-one meeting with others, empaths, healers, and sensitive people to really find your community in a time where we are really needing connection in deep and authentic ways. That's our jam, and that's what we do, as well as getting personalized guidance from me for your questions and access to our entire library of online courses. So you can learn things, open up my brain and teach you all about knowing your energetic type, how to use different subtle body skills for just releasing the stress that's trapped in your body. And coming soon this spring is our money course, which is sure to alter and upgrade your relationship with money beyond just abundance and trying to manifest $1 million. Let's get down to the actual way that works to change the energy of money and how it arrives in your life and in your system. If you're interested, check out the links below. You are a soul with a body, and I am wishing you great things.